Hello friends, okay, so I am back again and let us continue with our discussion further. Now I was explaining in the last class about the cost curves and we have already completed a discussion regarding what is your fixed cost, variable cost and total cost. So total cost is nothing but a combination of your fixed cost and variable cost. So this is how the curve will appear, okay, it will appear like this. Now let us draw average fixed cost. The next another concept of cost is your average fixed cost. Let us discuss that. Average fixed cost, okay. Now average fixed cost is the average total fixed cost. That is the average total fixed cost per unit of production. Average total fixed cost. Okay. Average total fixed cost per unit of output. Like this, per unit of your production. Per unit of output. So we have already discussed the concept of fixed cost. I told you fixed cost is something which cannot be negative or which cannot be zero. It is the cost which the company has to be, like land expenditure, paying the salaries of employees. Now what is this average fixed cost? The average fixed cost can be defined as the average total fixed cost per unit of output. So here if we draw a curve, okay, if we draw a curve regarding the average fixed cost, then it will be something like this. Are you getting my point? Okay. Now how? Okay. Now if the average total fixed cost per unit, right, means your fixed cost, if we are trying to understand, it will be like this. Like means fixed cost curve will be something like this. Then your average variable cost. This is your average fixed cost. Then is your average variable cost. Average variable cost. Okay, your average variable cost, if you put in a form of a curve, it will be like this. Something like this it will come. Okay, because assume this is the output, this is the cost. We have already discussed the concept of variable cost. Variable cost is that cost which if the variable cost is changed, output will also change. So if we go on increasing the variable cost, your output will also be changed. So when we try to identify in the form of a graph, the curve will be like this for average variable cost, and for your average fixed cost, the curve will be something like this. Is it clear? So these are your cost curves. That your total cost, variable cost, then your fixed cost, average fixed cost and your average variable cost. Next we will discuss about marginal cost. Another concept is your marginal cost. Marginal cost. Now what is marginal cost? Marginal cost is equal to total cost by quantity. Okay. Now what is this? Additional cost to produce an additional unit of output. Okay. It is the additional cost. Okay. Additional cost. You can put additional cost to produce a additional unit of output. For example, suppose the normal cost of our company was say 10,000 rupees for 100 outputs. Okay. Now for extra, suppose now this is thinking of 15,000, suppose it is now thinking of 150 outputs. then it has to invest 15,000 rupees. This is just an example I am giving. So what does it mean? your marginal cost is the additional cost borne by the company or the firm for each additional unit of output produced. Okay, because we have already discussed that the total cost will be a combination of a fixed cost and a variable cost, and here the output can be increased by increasing the variable cost. So that is one concept. But when we are coming to marginal cost can be defined as the additional cost borne by the company or the additional cost expended by the company or firm to produce additional unit of output. So if you want to produce additional unit of output, then you have to expend or you have to invest additional, you have to add additional cost, which is known as your marginal cost. Now, the basic difference between the average cost and marginal cost is, average cost is when we are calculating the total cost by the total units produced. But when we are talking about marginal cost, it is the, please remember, when we are using the word marginal, it is actually the additional cost borne by the company or the firm for each additional unit of production. So that you should keep in mind. But average cost is the total cost borne by the company or total cost expended by the company or the firm for the total output or quantity produced by the company. Is it clear? So this is all about your short run cost. Now let us discuss about it. I told you there is another one, that is long run cost. Cost function is two types. I have already told you, short run and long run. Now let us discuss the long run cost. Long run cost means over a period of time, long period. Over a long period of time. It is in a long period, a firm has wider choices, has more options, and it can invest more amount of money, and the firm can also increase its business expansion. There are possible sizes to increase the business, possible ways to explore the business. So this can be discussed under a long run cost. It can easily move from one scale to another. That means what? In a long run cost, a firm has many chances to explore its business, increase the size and scale of output. Are you getting my point? So in long run cost, a firm has many chances to explore its business, increase the size, then increase the scale of output, go for expansion and all that. So here a curve will be something like this, like your curve will be like this, means the scale of output is increasing. This, you see, this is increase, okay, scale of output increases slowly, okay. Now let us discuss under long run cost. We have a concept. Now you understood long run cost. Long run cost is actually, here we are discussing the cost function in a particular period. That is, short run is when we have tried to discuss the concept of cost function in a short duration of time, say for 6 months or 1 year. But when we are saying long run cost, we are talking about a period where the cost function can range up to 3 years, 5 years or 10 years. And here during this period, the firm has, or the business house has, lot of chances to explore the business, expand the business, carry out the business activities, and also increase its scale of output. Okay. Now we have a concept here known as economics of scale. Okay. Economics of scale of, this is actually a large scale production. So let us discuss the concept of economics of scale. Economics of scale of large scale production. Okay, we are saying economics of scale of your large scale production. Here we are going to discuss. Now, economics of scale are the reduction. What is economics of scale? It is the reduction in the unit cost of production as the volume of production. Like means the output is carried on here. You have to remember that here the output or the scale of production is carried out in a larger scale, and there are some disadvantage as well as advantage to the company. Economics of scale means here we are talking about the production of large scale production. Output is more, cost is more, and increase in production is more. Increase in production is more. Okay. Now this has some advantage also and disadvantages also. Advantages are there, disadvantages are there. Okay. So economics of scale is when we are talking about the production process, or we are talking about large scale production, or we are talking about the production process for a longer period of time, where the company has ample chances or greater chances to invest more cost, get better output, increase the span of production, have more production units, increase the business horizon, and can also improve the output. But again this we call as economics of scale. Now this economics of scale of large scale production has much more advantages and some disadvantages also. Now the advantages are called as economics of large scale production, and the advantages are here. So let us first today discuss the advantages here. What could be the advantages? Advantages of economics. Now the advantages of economics can be divided into two. One is your internal advantages and another is the external advantages. Internal advantages are again confined to the company. Okay. Internal economies, and this is external. So internal economies are confined to your company. Okay. Internal economies are confined or limited within the organization. Okay. Now what are the advantage? When the firm is increasing its business output, it is called as, when the firm is increasing its business and expand or increasing its business output, it is known as internal economics. Okay. So internal economics is a situation when the firm is increasing in outputs, increasing its business. Now in this we have some advantages like number one is your, what is the advantage here is your labor economics. Labor economics, just I'll write it down, then labor economics is there, your technical economics is there, technical, okay, labor, technical, marginal, okay. Then we have this is managerial, marketing, okay. And you have financial, research and development, risk taking, okay. And also your transfer and storage. So these are some of the advantage of internal economics, where your firm is or where your company is into expansion of business, or where your company is into giving or producing better outputs or more outputs. Now how it is advantage labor? See, when you are having greater when you are expanding your business, you can hire better skilled labor. When you are talking about how labor is benefited, you can hire skilled labor, you can have the best labor to work for your company. So that is a labor economy. Technical, You can invest more amount of cost or money for increasing your technical benefit like technology, machineries. So you have a technical advantage here. Managerial, you have the best people working for you because we are going to pay them very high. Your business is expanding, you are interested to invest money, so you can hire the best managers, the best professionals for your organization who can give their best service. So manager economics. Marketing, because of your high inputs or because of your increase in the investment expenditure of cost, you can also go for marketing of your products like creating advertisements, then marketing your goods in the proper place, placing them in the proper place in the market so that people will be aware of your goods and services, and if marketing is done properly, sales will also be done in a higher way. Then is your financial. Because of your large business expansion, you can approach the bankers, financial institutions who will be readily happy to give you loans. Okay, so not only you'll get loans, but you'll be in a position to invest more money for your business. You'll have a financial stability. Then coming to research, because of your expansion, you can do various research. You can have a research and development wing or a research and development cell in your organization where people can research like how to develop the business further. So this thing is possible. Then as you are investing money or as your internal economics is very high, you can take risk to expand your business. And last, you have better transfer facility, you have storage units, you have storage facility. So these are some of the basic advantages of internal economics, like your labor, technical, managerial, marketing, financial, research, risk taking, transfer and storage of cost. So these are some of the basic advantages here of your economics. Okay. And being the company having more of expansion, as you are investing more of money, you can also take risk. Risk in the sense is you can take risk in expanding. As you have financial stability, you can move further. You can also enhance the business. So these things are possible. You can have the best labor, skilled labor. You will be technically sound. You can install better machines. You can work on good machines. So in this way, what you can do is your business expansion will be very high. And even you can have good marketing process. Like I told you, advertising is one of the way. You can go for better advertisements. You can have better research work. Okay. So these are some of the advantages. But equally, as I told you, that there are some disadvantages also. Disadvantages, I'll just tell you. We can put here this side. Disadvantages. We'll complete this part today. Disadvantages. Okay, your disadvantages are your management diseconomics, okay, or your technical risk taking, marketing, financial. Now your management. If we come to management diseconomies means sometimes it happens that related to your division of labor, increasing the managerial stuff, or how to hire the best manager, how to have the division of labor among them, how to divide the work. This may be a problem for you. Then sometimes technical difficulties may come. If a firm is frequently changing from one technology, then what happens? Because you have get the investment, you want to switch to technology. So sometimes when you keep on investing more in technology, sometimes there will be a loss to the company because you are paying, or when you are increasing. That means by switching over to different technology, you are increasing your cost. So that is one diseconomy. Okay, technology. When you are investing more money on technology, that means you are putting or you are expending more money. That is a cost to the company. Then sometimes risk taking. Risk taking is also very dangerous at times. I told risk taking can be an advantage, and at the same time risk taking can be a disadvantage. And next is your marketing. Sometimes it may happen that your products may not be marketed as the way you desire, or they may not be placed in the market, in the proper market. So you may have to bear heavy losses. Okay, if the market is not appropriate, or if the market is not suitable, then you cannot sell your goods. The last one is your financial. So sometimes it happens that it is very difficult for you to maintain this financial stability. It is difficult for you to borrow money or to get money from the financial institutions or bankers. So all these problems are a part of the disadvantage under internal economics. So under internal economics, what is internal economics? Internal economics is that stage or that part of an organization where the organization increases the output by increasing the cost. So it has advantage and disadvantage. Advantages, as I told you, labor, technical, manager, marketing, financial, research and development, and your risk taking, storage, transfer. But similarly, there are disadvantages regarding the management, investing more on technology is an extra cost, and you have to take risk at time because it may be favorable or not. Sometimes the marketing of the products may not be done properly. And then lastly, borrowing money or to getting a financial advantage will be also a problem for the firm or the company. So till this we have covered your internal economics, advantage and disadvantage. In next class we will be talking about your external economics, and we will try to complete this entire chapter of cost. I hope that it is clear whatever we have discussed today in today's class. So I'll just, before closing my session, just I'll tell you what we discussed today. Today we have finished a discussion regarding the various type of cost: real cost, money, economic cost, social cost, private cost. Then we had discussed about what is cost function, that is short run function and long run function. Then at last we came to discuss the internal economies and what is the advantage and what is the disadvantages of internal economies. So I have already told you what are the advantage and disadvantage of internal economics. Next class we will be talking about external economics, what is the advantage and disadvantage of external economics. So I hope that today's session was great, and you could follow me, understand, and have a very nice weekend. And next class we'll meet with the discussion of external economics. Have a great day. Thank you.